Welcome to the Legacy Through Land podcast, where we're dedicated to empowering you on your journey to land ownership and management. I'm Tyler Markham, your host, and each week we'll dive deep into the world of land investing, management strategies, and the transformative experiences tied to owning your very own piece of dream dirt. With our expert guests, inspiring stories, and actionable advice, we're committed to helping you become a better land manager, hone your investing skills, and start building your family's legacy through land. Now, let's dive into this week's episode. We hope you'll enjoy.
Welcome back to the next episode of Legacy Through Land. Don't care what number it is. It's definitely a number. Tell you what, I'm giving you guys an update right out of the gate. This probably will have leaked on social media prior to this podcast episode airing, but I was finally successful at harvesting a deer here in Ohio. Yesterday evening, I was able to harvest the target buck that my youngest daughter and I have spent so much time together that has meant so much to me hunting. This deer's not going to be the biggest scorer in the world, but he is the coolest deer that I've ever shot. We called him Lloyd Christmas, killed him on my small farm that we're going to eventually build a house on. So there's just a ton of meaning behind it, a ton of just cool parts of the story. Got it all on film, self-filmed. I'm proud of myself for how everything went down. Just super thankful. God is good, worked hard, and I'm just super thankful. So we recovered him last night, took pictures this morning. I was kind of pushing it for this podcast, but that's kind of the update for me. Now I don't have a tag in Ohio. I'll just be filming some other people, and I'll probably get one more run into Illinois before the season ends. But we have been really wide open in business right now, and we've bought a handful of farms. We've been working hard at looking at farms. We've bought a handful of farms. We've sold a couple farms. We are just really pushing hard to try and end the year strong. There's not much other than that I could update, other than if you're looking for a farm, I cannot tell you enough that right now is the time you want to buy a farm. Right now, between now and spring, in my opinion, is the time you want to get boots on the ground on your farm. You want to start your brain on the projects you want to do. You want to start laying out stand locations. You want to be looking over things, whatever that is. If you're a hunter, all that is happening now. I just cannot emphasize enough. A ton of people wait till the spring to buy a farm, and so did everyone else. And now you're in a rat race. Now is the time to buy a farm. And conveniently, and this doesn't always happen for us, but we have a handful of good properties coming up. So you definitely want to get on our VIP buyers list at legacyacreslandcompany.com. If you're not already on it, they get to see our properties first before they hit the market. You guys hopefully know that by now, but unashamedly, that's my only plug for Legacy Acres Land Company right now. Let's jump right into today's guest, Austin Troyer. And I'm telling you what, this story was just so therapeutic for me, because Austin embodies what it's like to take chances, take risk, see God's vision in taking action, leading from the front in your family, leading from the front in business, and trying to honor him with doing so. What an amazing journey we're going to talk about. He has really piqued my interest with just livestock and the things that have springboarded him into becoming now recently a full-time land guy. He was not a full-time land guy, but had tons of entrepreneurial success, which we talk about, cattle being one of those. And this is at a really large scale. I'm telling you, this one's going to be belief building. But if you're just kind of like, hey, can we do this land thing? Is this a thing? You're going to now hear it from not just me, but a second guy, how this has completely changed his life. And at the very end, there's an amazing God story of a successful hunt he had this year. I'm not going to spoil it. You have to stick around for it. Jumping right in, Austin Troyer, my new land friend. Austin, thank you for being with me today, dude. I can't wait to talk shop.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an honor to be here. I appreciate the opportunity.
I don't know about that. It might not be so much of an honor, but we'll have some fun with this. I cannot say how many talk tracks we'll probably have with this one, but from what I've gathered with Austin and what he does, he has also sent me several cards, and it's amazing, Austin. I don't know why I haven't called and just completely cussed you out and told you that I'm offended and don't ever mail me again or I'll call the cops on you or I'll sue you. And why do you think this would ever sell? You're going to have to pry it from my cold, dead hands. I haven't done any of that. I've just nicely sent the picture of him and said, what's your offer? And then I just chucked it in the trash, right? Isn't that what we do? Isn't that what we do?
Yeah. I'm surprised I haven't got a call from you, wanting to sell me one of your sweet properties yet.
Well, I do want to sell him one of my sweet properties, everybody. I just don't think he wants to pay for it. So he's kind of on my side of the fence of wanting to buy deep. So, dude, let's jump right into this. I cannot tell you how exciting it is to have someone on the podcast who I believe, and he says we're not super similar, but I think we're super similar in kind of what we're doing. So we're going to work backwards here and get to today, where Austin told me prior to us going live, he's only been doing land, I guess, full time for like 8 or 9 months.
Correct.
But there's a whole, forget the cool word you use, cemetery of other businesses that have led to doing land for 8 or 9 months.
Yes. Yeah. I'm really good at starting things that don't work. Let's put it that way.
If you've listened to enough podcasts with any of the guests, like we had Mike Yoder on a couple weeks ago, literally the exact same thing Mike said. I have started a bunch of businesses and then we figured out which ones were good, and guilty as well. So guilty as well. So Austin, where are you on the map? What's your neck of the woods? And let's work backwards. How in the world did we get to today? Because there's a few places we're going to spend a little time talking about what Austin's world's like. Yeah.
Well, I am from Northeast Ohio. I grew up in Stark County, a little town called Hartville. That's where home is to me. I've kind of moved around after high school a little bit. I worked on a couple ranches in Southern Ohio, Belmont, Harrison County area, and then settled in. I'm currently in Tuscarawas County is where we live right now. So it's kind of been, we moved around a little bit. I spent a year in Arizona as well, just doing some ranching work out there. And then, I guess ended up here not too far from home, about an hour away from where I grew up in Tuscarawas County.
So I didn't know that it was legal to say the whole county. I just always heard Tusk County. So you pronounced it correctly. Say that again, Tuscarawas County.
Yeah, if you're local, it's T County. Everybody says that, but Tuscarawas County, the Tuscarawas River. It's a cool little place.
It's a lot. When I lived in West Virginia, we were on the Kanawha River, and I think you know that area. But I would never I used to be in the legal field, and people would say these attorneys would fly in from Atlanta and wherever, and they're like, now in the Kanawha County, and like all day, it's like, no, think of an Indian, Kanawha.
Yes, yeah, right.
Yeah. Tuscarawas County. I'm going to work on that. I mean, that's a goal of mine now to get that right. We've just always said Tusk just to make that simpler.
Yep.
So what keeps you busy these days? What keeps you busy, and what are all the hats you're wearing?
Yeah. So I guess backing up a little bit, just to give some context here, my wife and I, we worked on a couple of ranches in Southern Ohio, like I said earlier, and then had an opportunity to go on our own. And we leased a bunch of strip mine ground here in Southeast Ohio. And over the course of the last 7 years, have put together a fairly large ranch for Ohio. And so we currently lease ranches in 7 different counties. We run cattle and sheep on those places. And that's what we do. We're ranchers. We chase crazy cows and sheep across the strip mines of Eastern Ohio. It is a simple way to say it.
Okay. We for sure got to unpack this. I don't know how many people I've ever heard say these two words together, ranch and Ohio. So I like this already. And I have to kind of preface that Austin and I, of course, he sent me cards and, we had connected cordially through business, but there's a guy that we both owe some credit to here. There's a guy named Joe Shaw who, Joe, like literally, and shout out to Joe if he's listening, like Joe was super intentional with messaging me and we were talking. I forget what started our conversation, but he was like, dude, I'm just telling you, you have to meet my friend. You have to meet this guy. Like he and you are going to get into some stuff. And I'm like, he does circles around me, Joe saying Austin's the go-getter. Dude never knows how to quit. So like, as soon as Joe's telling me about this guy, I'm like, yeah, let's go. I want to meet him right now because I think it's going to be a problem for us to know each other and it's going to be great. But Joe was instrumental in us getting together. So I appreciate Joe being intentional. And Austin, it has to feel good for you just to, you know what I mean? Have someone say all those things about you. It's just cool to see the impact that you're leaving that you may not, think yourself.
Yeah. Joe's an awesome guy. He went to high school with him. Really good buddy. We spent a ton of time hunting together, back in the day. And yeah, he's an upstanding guy.
Yeah, for sure. So maybe we'll have to get Joe on here just to see, we'll get the 411 on your high school days. We won't blackmail. Yeah, we won't blackmail you here. But so back up here. Clearly, we're gonna need to land a plane because I just heard that you're a rancher, 7,000 to 8,000 acres. I want to say.
Yeah, correct.
You've done this in Arizona. You've done this in Southern Ohio, and you said Harrison County, which I'm assuming Harrison County, Ohio, or Harrison County, West Virginia.
Ohio.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, ironically, there's a Harrison County close to southeastern Ohio. So West Virginia. I didn't know if you had been over there as well, but go big or go home is what I've always heard about you. Like literally. And I love that. Work us back. You said you and your wife got the opportunity to be on some ranches in southeastern Ohio. Like what even puts you there from an interesting, like what interested you in this and how in the world did you get your wife into this? I'm already interested.
Yeah. So I guess coming out of high school, I was broke. I didn't want to go to college. I quite frankly can't stand college. I think it's a scam. But
he said it, not me, everybody. I said it once and got in trouble. He said it.
Yeah. It has its place for the right people. But for some, like a redneck like me that just want to go work and I want to be a farmer, or I didn't quite know what I wanted to do. Going and spending a bunch of money didn't seem like the solution. So my whole family's been in construction. I've built every part of a house from framing to roofing to concrete, done it all. Love working hard. Just construction is just not for me. I can't clock in and clock out. It's not. It goes against everything inside of me. I'm motivated to build things. I love to create and build on my own. So, got a job opportunity working on a ranch, just as a ranch hand. I do nothing about cows, but just fell in love with the idea of being outside. I put 12,000 miles on a 4-wheeler the first year I worked. Like that's all I did was run around, check cows, check fence, and just go be by myself, go work. I was literally like watching deer every day, turkey season. Like it was just awesome. I was always outside. And I loved it.
And how would you have been at that time?
That was right after high school. I've been 19. Okay. And just for the first time in my life found something that I was like, all right, I want to do this. I'm going to soak this up. I mean, I was working for like $10 an hour. I wasn't getting paid much, but I got free housing and I just was a sponge. And the guys I was working for were very great about teaching me the business. They taught me about things like depreciation on animals and vehicles and, how do you set this up to defer taxes? And, what can we do here to really build wealth through more than just a 9 to 5, through, an investment, what's an appreciating asset, things like that I didn't know. Nobody had ever taught me. They don't teach that kind of stuff in school. And so while I was a ranch hand, I was doing the work diligently, but I was also just trying to be a sponge and learn from these guys who were doing this. And the cool thing was I worked for them and I was always open and honest. I was like, hey, like I'm here. I'm all yours. I'm dedicated to working for you, but I'm not here forever. Like my goal, my dream is to go on my own. I want to build a ranch like this. I want to own land. I want to own animals. So I'm, like I said, I'm here for you guys. I'm working my tail off, but if I have another opportunity to go on my own, I'm going to take it. And, they were like, sweet. Like, we appreciate that. I was basically them 20 or 30 years ago. So they admired
amazing.
that. Yeah.
So awesome.
So then the opportunity finally did come up. I found some strip mine ground that nobody was using, a couple thousand acres that was just sitting empty in southern Tuscarawas County, and took me like 2 years. I finally got a hold of the landowners and worked out and negotiated a lease with them. And so we came up here, my wife and I did, and we built, we built over 200 miles of fence because none of this was fenced. So we went in and built it all. And while I was working for the ranches I was on, I had built a cow herd. And so the time came when I did get these leases. I went on my own, brought my cow herd up here, and the ranchers I worked for were great. They sent me the equipment I needed. I mean, I had a brand new D6 dozer, a skid steer, an excavator, a tractor, the post driver, truck and trailer. Like, they brought me all the equipment I needed to help me get started, and was just able to trade them for some labor to kind of pay that kind of stuff off. So they were instrumental in all of this.
Amazing, dude.
Amazing. Yeah. It was great.
We don't have to put them on the spot, but what Austin's telling you right now, and I'm not going to stop your talk track. You know how to be intentional with someone. You know how to be intentional with someone's success path. Take the time to do what those guys did for you. That's amazing. That is amazing. Yeah. I mean, obviously they easily saw something in you that was worth investing in. But that's amazing, man. Those guys pouring into you is what I believe. Would you resonate with me that as a young 19, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old, go find someone who put time into you and watch it springboard your life?
100%. Like they were absolutely instrumental in developing me as a person and as an entrepreneur, as I would say. I'm very thankful the Lord blessed me with those people in my life.
Amen. That is so awesome. All right, we got to keep going. I'm ready to literally jump out the window already. I'm ready to just go run the streets and yell entrepreneurism. But, okay, so you said 200 miles of fence, and you structure a lease. So if I'm listening, you structure a lease. It's obviously a good and a sophisticated lease, but you're doing improvements to this property. You're putting a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this property. Tell us how that's going. Like, where are we at now? Keep going.
Yeah, it's the landowners were fantastic. I was willing. I figured I was young. I had built some equity in a cow herd. I had a little bit of cash. I was willing to take on some risk. And so the lease was set up. So I had to pay for and build all the fence. And then the initial lease was 7 years. After 7 years, the landowner owns the fence. So I put an incredible amount of money and time and work into this fencing to get it all up and built, just so we could run our cattle. But I was willing to do that. I had an opportunity, and like you said earlier, my personality is go big or go home. It's my biggest blessing and my biggest curse.
Yeah, I think you're like me there. I don't know how to quit. Like I literally have not learned how.
Yeah.
And sounds like you didn't know how to quit. Once you saw the vision for what you were doing, it just wasn't an option.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and it was a giant learning curve because the ranches I was working on, while they were fantastic, they had a lot of outside income. It's a very good gas and oil area. They were right in the heart of that. They were in the business before that stuff surfaced. So the livestock production wasn't necessarily their income. It was a way to shelter income. Yeah. And that's not a knock on those guys. That's just that's the situation they're in. I couldn't be happier for those guys. So going on my own and trying to make a living just with livestock, it's over the course of the last 7 years, we've learned it's a very hard business. You can do everything in the world right. And like the last 2 summers, as anybody in Southeast Ohio knows, was incredibly dry. Like it didn't rain. And like our business at this point is growing grass and feeding livestock. And if it doesn't rain, we struggled. Like, what are we going to do? We had payroll to meet. We got full-time employees and we've got overheads and there's no grass and we've got all these animals. And what are we going to do? So it came with a lot of hardships. It really taught us to manage cash flow, to budget. One of the hard things, again, with livestock, it's very seasonal. Like we would, typically you would have one calf crop a year or one lamb crop a year. So there's literally 10 months of the year where there's nothing coming in except money going out for expenses and payroll and overheads. And then you get one crop. And we've had years where that crop has failed. And I don't want to make it sound like ranching is miserable because we've also had a lot of successes in it. But it has been a trying journey. It's been stressful at times. There's been years where we did not make ends meet, and we took a big old L on the P&L. And that's hard. That's hard when you got a wife and 3 little kids. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of losing sleep and worry and stress and things like that. So it's through it all, God has been good to us. He has constantly taught us. We've been trying to fail forward. We tried to pivot several times we started with a cow herd, then we went to sheep, and then we kind of now are back into both. And we did some custom grazing and just have kind of fumbled around in the livestock business, trying desperately on our own to make this thing work. And I guess it's led us to the point today where it's kind of the reason we got into land. The one thing that has stood out to me, and I've finally realized, is that in ranching, the one thing that's steady, the one thing that's continuous, and the one thing that isn't weather dependent and market dependent has been the land. Like, that's the thing that stabilizes this whole ship. There's a saying in some of the networks that I'm involved in the ranching world that most ranchers are broke millionaires. It's because their land is worth so much money and it appreciates and they have equity in it, but their cash flow is very, very hard on the livestock side. Like they pour their heart and soul into managing livestock just to pay their bills and live, but they're millionaires because of the land.
Well, so you've heard that saying, I'm sure, and I'll butcher it, but how do you become a millionaire in farming? Have 2 million first. And something like that. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
That's how. Have 10 million first and you'll be a millionaire in farming.
Yes, exactly.
But all right. So there's a part of this that we've got to dive into, which is it's obvious your wife is very involved. It's obvious your wife is not only supportive, but sounds like she plays a role or roles in this. What's that looked like?
Yeah, oh man, I couldn't do life without her. It's funny because we have the exact opposite personalities, and I am one extreme and she is the other, and the answer is in the middle. So we make a very good team. Before we had kids, she was the best help I ever had. I mean, she can build fence like nobody you've ever seen. The 2 of us,
I'm thinking of my grandma and grandpa right now, because that literally was all my childhood, was watching my grandma and grandpa. It was always fence, fence.
Yeah, she's literally the hardest working person I know. She can build an incredible amount of fence with me. She's the best help I've ever had. I joke and I say the only problem with her is I can't fire her.
She's an eternal HR issue for me.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No. So she's been instrumental in supporting me, and she's graciously.
Was that from day one? I mean, was this from day one? I mean, it's for me, like, was there are you guys dating at this point? Are you engaged? Are you already married when it's like, hey, and I'm going to make this up, Austin, I'm doing cattle. Like, or I want to lease a butt ton of acres. Like, how does that happen? What's that look like?
Well, we have gone to school together since kindergarten. So we were high school sweethearts. I left the area we were from after high school. We dated on and off a little bit through high school, and then I moved to Southern Ohio and started ranching, and somehow we connected again. And we were living about 2 hours apart, and started dating again, and then ended up getting married. And so she moved down with me onto the ranch. So she kind of knew a little bit of what she was getting into when she signed up. So,
and does she come from a family of farming background or anything like that?
A family of like 4-H to the level of farming. An awesome family. I've got the world's best in-laws. Couldn't be more blessed in that area, but no, not necessarily a farming background there. But she's always been. Her and her dad are big time hunters. It's awesome. Her dad and I go out west hunting all the time. We've been on like 5 elk hunts together, and he comes down here and hunts on our place. And my wife's name's Maggie. Maggie grew up hunting with her dad. She shot a bunch of deer, so she was very much so an outdoors girl. Not afraid to get her hands dirty, and we kind of hit it off because of that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So keep going here, because I felt like in my brain there's this really like defining moment of, hey, we're going to do this. And this is Austin's newest idea that he has dreamed about since the last 4 hours. And we're going to do it. And, but no, it sounds like it was a little less jumping off of a cliff. This was kind of more of a natural progression.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess the one thing we realized moving 2 hours away, we wanted to start a family. And you need a community when you have kids. And so when I found this opportunity to lease some more ground, we moved an hour back north. So we kind of cut the distance in half. So we were both super excited to be an hour closer to our family. Also to be able to go on our own. And Maggie has just so graciously supported me in every decision and journey I have taken us down, although most of them have been dead ends. She's been great. She's never, her support has always been there for me. So I owe her that for sure.
So continuing on this talk track here, something I'm interested in this is, and maybe it's just happenstance, but you said strip ground, Austin. I'm wondering in my mind, and I'm no cattle expert, but I wouldn't think strip ground would be ground you would typically be going after for cattle ranch building production, but I also just don't know. Is there any rhyme or reason to why you picked that? Or was that just, this is a large tract, this is what we can get our hands on?
Well, it's exactly that. It's what we could get our hands on.
Okay.
The other ground in this area is all row crops. And I can't compete with the level of prices that those guys pay for row crop ground. It just doesn't pencil. And so the strip mines, like all the farmers around here call it the junk ground. Like nobody wants it.
Yep.
But the one thing it does is it grows a tremendous amount of low quality feed. So as long as we match our enterprise to that, like for us, that's a year round cow herd. And that's these little hair sheep. We run sheep, and they are just, if you can keep them in a fence, they are the perfect fit to a strip mine. Like they eat like
because they just eat it all.
They eat the brush, the autumn olive, the honeysuckle, anything that's invasive, the Cerisa lesbidiza. Like there's all these invasive species on this strip mine ground, and the sheep eat it all. They're hard to keep at a fence, but they're like the perfect match for the strip mine ground.
Ask you how you know, right?
Man.
I'm sure that's some stories. Yeah, I was just thinking there's got to be strategy there, because I would agree with you in the sentiment that farmers and strip ground is the crap ground. I mean, it's not the desirable ground, but it makes total sense. It's what you could get your hands on, and you said a large piece. It probably can average out from what you can grow from a tonnage perspective or whatever it is. Right. You can still average it out on that many acres.
Yeah. And the other blessing of the strip mine ground is the fescue that we can grow here. It holds its protein, it holds its energy throughout the wintertime, and allows us to really take animals through the winter without feeding a bunch of hay. Like we currently we're grazing 8,000 acres, but we don't own a tractor. We don't. There's very few exceptions where we have to feed hay. That would be like if we get ice or a massive snow. But for the most part, our animals have to work through the winter, and they just keep grazing, and they got to kind of earn their keep. And it's allowed us to build some really low input hardy genetics that we can kind of use as a marketing channel. Like, hey, we've got animals that they can do it here, they can do it for your place. So that's kind of been our our bread and butter, is developing low input genetics on these strip mines.
So let's go to, I don't know that we'll ever get to Austin's hunting isms and business isms. I'm too interested in all this. And by the way, I'm not setting up to build fence after this, so you can rest assured.
Okay.
So what is the business play? Are you raising cattle to sell calves? Are you raising cattle to sell beef? Like, yes, all the above. What's your exit strategy, if you will? I don't even know the right vernacular to use in the cattle world.
Yeah, so this would go back to the ranchers that I first worked for. Is there's the typical livestock production is you own a female, she produces a calf or a lamb, you sell the lamb or the calf, and that's your check. There's several flaws with that business model, because your animals, your females, like I'll use a heifer as example. A heifer might be worth $800 when she's weaned. If you take that heifer and you breed her, now she's worth $1,600. And if you take her till she's a 3-year-old, and you breed her back, now she's worth $2,300. So you can gain a lot of appreciation And then the other downside of that is you also can't let her get old and come back down that ladder and depreciate. So the ranching world is a female. It's a business to sell females. Like that is our business. That's our outlet. That sounds kind of weird when I say it like that,
no, I get it.
We produce beef as a side product, but the real business, the real thing that moves the needle is developing females in the breeding stock world. That is what we do. That's our business.
Your target exit, if I'm assuming correctly, is that at year 3 of the life of that female, that's your target exit to sell?
Yeah, it's 3 to 4, depending on who you ask. So yeah, typically we kind of have a rule on the farm that, and we've never done it perfect, but as a principle, we try not to let any of our cows get over 4 years old. And then our sheep, it's kind of the same thing. We probably sell them at 3, just to not let them depreciate and avoid that. It's one of those things that you don't really understand it, so you really put the numbers to it. And I would have never known it from an outsider's perspective. But capturing appreciation and avoiding depreciation are absolutely vital in the livestock world.
2 more questions with that. I promise. This is so interesting. I know enough about the cattle world just from the outside perspective. My grandpa was a cattle guy my entire childhood, but I was too young to wear the business hat or care about, the business side of it, and then got into residential house flips at 20. So that was my path. But do you ever keep calves to get them to the 3-year mark, or it just seems like, I don't know if the life cycle is not, you don't want to keep them for 3 years, or, do you ever keep calves to build the herd from what you sell?
Yeah. So in that model, we would keep all the heifers and the ewe lambs. So we retain all the females and take them till their peak, which is 3 or 4. Okay. And then, but all the steer calves or the ram lambs, they sell. They're just that's cash flow. Use that to pay our overheads. Try to squeak by with just the sale of the males, if you will. Yep. And then retain as many females as you can afford cash flow wise, and allow them to appreciate.
Okay, so then this makes sense. Then everything that rises to the top that's 3 and or 4 years old is what you're selling. Now the next question becomes, what does someone do if they're buying this 3 or 4 year old from you? What are they doing with it?
So,
and it could be 20 things. I mean, I don't know. What's their plan if you know?
Yeah. So most of the time when we market it, so that female has been in our system. She's raised a calf every year. She's done it without a single bale of hay, very few inputs. Again, if they can do it here, they can do it for you. So we market her as a tried and true, like she's proved herself female that you can keep and breed, and the heifers you get out of her are going to be awesome. So that's our marketing channel. Like that's what we do. That's what.
So you hope they keep them. That's your hope, is you're building a supreme genetic mother. However you want to say that. Yeah. You hope that they keep your genetic mother on their farm as the cream of their own crop. And what's her successful average breeding cycle age? I mean, how many more calves does she have in her?
I've seen cows that are 16 and 17 years old that have had a calf every year. Now that's rare. I would say a 10-year-old cow is probably, she better be in dang good shape or I'm going to sell her. If I'm the other guy.
That's still more than I thought. So you're saying if you sell it at 3, in theory, there's still potentially 5 to 7 years worth of calving that she's going to produce for that next owner.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, that makes sense. That's amazing. And I understand, like, just thinking back from the perspective of, I think of all the farmers that I know that are out putting out bales of hay right now. It's December 11th that we're recording this. They're out sloppy, cold, running the spear into the bales. They're out there throwing them into the rings, and they're feeding. And they're trying to get them through the winter. Like you said, if they had a drought in the fall, they didn't get enough hay in that summer. They're struggling. They're buying hay. And you're saying we're over here creating a genetic there's a cool word for it, I'm sure, but a super species,
Yeah, sure.
A mountain cow. We're building a strip mine cow that's built to be a disposal, if you will. Yeah. And your input cost for our cow, if you own it, is going to be less, and she has a higher reproduction and successful reproduction rate.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So, and I should preface all this by saying, like, that's the goal. That was our vision. Yeah. Like, we haven't executed this perfectly. Like, if 10 years from now, like, this would be in execution. Like, it's a long process to buy the right cows, to start that and get them to that point. And so I don't want to make it sound like we have this down and we're doing this every year. We've also tried.
You didn't have a drought last fall.
And we've tried so many other things, like buying and selling cows and buying open cows and breeding them and buying bred cows and calving them and reselling them. So we've been all over the board, just constantly trying to pivot, and really, like, I would just beat my head against the wall trying to cash flow this thing. Like, it's such a hard business to cash flow. And then, you get things like drought in there, and it makes it really hard to continue it and balance it all and keep it afloat. It's a weight for sure.
This is so amazing. So let me ask you this. I don't know if we're getting to your hunting. I don't know if we're going to get to your land sales. I'm too interested in all this. I'm telling you, listeners, if you don't think this is cool, get enough stripes, okay? Get enough stripes in life, and you'll start to step back, because what I believe, Austin, I should have kind of led with this. Anytime I'm like talking to a farmer about their land, or I'm talking to a farmer about trying to get hunting permission or whatever it is, I have so much respect for farmers, because I believe they are actually the heartbeat of America. I actually believe they are the most honest, hardest earned dollar there is. I believe they are so essential. And I just intimately love hearing and learning about the grit that they must possess to be successful in what us city folk we just expect food to show up on the table. We just expect stuff to be in the grocery store. We just expect it. We don't know any different. And you're out there on the other side of it, knowing exactly what it's like to produce. Even if it's not you that's producing that beef, you're producing the product that then goes to someone who does produce beef. Like, that is fulfilling. Like, that's hard stuff. So, question, now that we're jumping through stuff here, what was you said that the lease had a 7-year kind of a run in it, and in 7 years the landowner is going to own the fence. Does your lease span past that, or do you almost have some kind of a 7-year business model on that farm or whatever? Is there renewals? I mean, what's your long-term future look like in a lease?
Yeah. So this one was a 7-year lease. And so this is actually year 7 of that lease. Okay. And all along, I did everything I could to build the relationship with the landowners. And like, we were mowing brush for them, keeping autumn olives down. We were dozing them into big piles and burning them and making their properties look pretty, and trying to really nurture that relationship. And so all along, there was a very good back and forth there. They love what we're doing. One of the biggest values we provide to them was just being here and keeping people that aren't supposed to be here off. They've gotten sued from people trespassing and getting killed and like riding 4-wheelers and wrecking stuff and getting hurt. And like, we police the place and make it pretty. So they have really appreciated us being here. And I knew 7 years was coming to an end. So everything, we were talking to them 2 years ago about, hey, what happens after year 7? And we had verbal agreements. Like, I shouldn't say a verbal agreement. There was a verbal understanding that, like, we will work with you after 7 years. We don't know exactly what it's going to look like yet, but that's the risk we take in leasing ground, is it can go away anytime. That's part of another reason why I wanted to get into land, is I wanted to own some of this ground. But there's an inherent risk there when you lease properties, that it can go away. However, we had kind of built a relationship with these landowners that we were confident in. They're going to renew it for a certain amount of time, or another 7 years, or some kind of a rolling renewal. Like, every time we finish 1 year, we add a year to the back end, kind of a thing. Yeah, I mean, there's so much there that, like you said in the beginning, you had more appetite for risk. And so some of this that would be really deep heartburn and red tape for someone else who's going to want a more straight-laced arrangement, here's the deal. And this is what I love about, like, where Austin and I and all the people that I interview oftentimes are in the career, is
we are not coasting. We are trying to get the plane up to elevation in our business. And the only way you do that is you got to take a little risk. You got to. And the people that are risk averse, the plane just won't ever take off. It's really awesome and it's beautiful and it's in a hangar and it looks pretty and it's painted and it's great. But it's some risk because the days, let's just stay with the plane. The days that you need to take it off the ground, it's really windy or it's really rainy or it's really bad weather or it's inclement or air traffic control says, you're clear for takeoff if you want to do it. And the wrong guy's like, yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. And you and I are like, dude, I want to get to altitude. And the plane is easier to fly at altitude. It takes less gas at altitude. It is way easier to weather this storm when we get above it. We have to go. And so lease wise, I totally understand that you probably just had to have a little bit more appetite. My curiosity, Austin, is does it exist or could it exist where something like that could be structured where you almost could do a lease with option to buy or a lease with a owner financing sale on the back end, or, is there ways to continue to nurture that relationship? Because obviously 2,000 acres or whatever one, landowner owns is a ginormous acquisition. And I'm sure that's a ginormous financial pill to swallow. But have you ever tried to nurture a way to make that happen, where you can buy from them one day on even creative terms or just whatever? Have you tried to get that far with that?
It's always been on my mind. Like my dream is to own one of these places sometime. But the landowners are very sharp people. They know what they have. They know what it's worth. They're right on the fringe of some gas and oil stuff that's potentially headed this way. So they have not sold a piece of property in 20 years. This specific landowner owns 30,000 acres in Ohio, and and good for them. I don't mean this in a negative way, but they don't need the money.
Right.
They have zero interest in selling. My goal and dream is to hopefully use land and 1031 a bunch of properties down the road and keep kicking that can, and then ultimately be able to come back to these people and say, hey, I want to buy this farm.
Yep.
And I can do this, I can give you this much, and then it's going to have to be some kind of creative financing beyond that. So I'm very much so like, I literally think about that every single day. Have I pursued it yet? No, I haven't even brought it up to them because it's, the price of land around here is just, it's kind of sad. It's appreciated so far beyond what you can produce on it agriculturally that you can never pay for land with livestock or even with farming anymore.
That's all you and I's fault, right? Single-handedly, that's all you and I's fault. We did that.
I know, right?
We single-handedly, skyrocketed the price of land. You know that, right?
Yes.
It wasn't COVID. It wasn't low interest rates. It wasn't recreational hunting. It wasn't over the tag counter sales. It wasn't when cabs went to whatever, $2,000 or what, wasn't any of that. Wasn't when crops were $8 a bushel for corn. None of that. None of that did it. It's you and me sending these direct mail cards that's really messed it up. You know that, right?
We're guilty.
That's it. We are single-handedly, Austin Troyer and I do a test. We have jacked the entire country's market up. We do it. We do. Tongue in cheek. So here, you already know this, Austin, but I'm going to encourage you. And man, I would love to just follow up on this in a year or two. I'm going to encourage you to have coffee with those people. Because you've already been so intentional, and maybe you have. Maybe this is not even necessary. You've already been so intentional with how to treat them. You've already built this runway to allow yourself to be in that arena to have the conversation, to say, hey, guys, to the owners, my thought is, hey, I can even afford it. Like, I can't afford it. My dream would be to own this someday. I'm just wondering if there's ever a way we could sit down and maybe you guys could help me find a way to do it. Or is there a way we could work together? Is there a way I could buy it on terms? Is there a way I could do a lease with option? Is there a way I could secure what I'm continuing to do here? Because you've treated them right. And Austin, you have exponentially increased the value of their land. You've increased the ease of runway for them to sell it for top dollar. Like, how many farms do you think that's going to have 2,000 acres of fence? And the wrong landowner can be like, no, we know what we have now, Austin. Thank you for your service. We're going to go break it off and get crazy money because we know it's worth it. And again, go, whoever can afford that, great. But Austin, you have that inner working relationship that, and I heard a business coach tell me this one time. We're going to get back on track. I still have questions. You've made enough deposits in them. You have made so many deposits in them in that relationship. I don't think it's out of school for you to go and ask for a withdrawal. Sure. Just to like start the conversation, just to voice, like, you see my family, we're young, we're aggressive. I want to do whatever you guys think we could do. I'm here to listen. I respect you. I look up to you guys. I want to be in your position. Would you be willing to mentor me through, is there a way to buy this? Could there be a way to buy this? Because, dude, there's always a way if people want to do it. There's always a way. There always is. Or, some kind of a sliding scale of ownership. Yes, Austin, in year one, I'm making all this up. This is my visionary brain. But, year one of a sale, you're 25% owner. Year two, you're 40% owner. Year three, you're 60% owner. And we step into, a 7 to 10 year runway, whatever, where they may be able to say, let's find, or, hey, I don't know if you want this, but do they want the minerals? Okay, well, maybe you don't want the minerals. And maybe there's a way I can afford the land because I don't care about the minerals, or I'll get 1% of the mineral ownership so I can see what happens here. I don't know. There's just, to me, man, there's always ways, there's always a way if you want to do it.
That's really good for me. I appreciate you saying that, because that's good for me to hear.
Well, you're working hard, man. And I can tell you, like, just looking at my grandpa's farm when I grew up, like, the idea, and anyone listening here, if you've got a farm or, a neighbor that's got a farm it's one thing to lease a farm, just go put crops on it, under fertilize it, rip the crops off, and go to the next one. We see it all the time. Cause erosion, don't spray for stuff, don't mow fences, don't put fence up, don't do all these things you're doing. Don't push invasive species into brush piles and burn them. You are not that guy. You are doing everything that this landowner has a dream lease with you, a dream lease. I just don't think that's too much to ask from the curiosity perspective of, guys, I lay awake at night with this. Like, I lay awake with this. I look at my family. We would love to find a way. Like, is there ever a way? I'm just asking if you guys could teach me, or could we think together? Is there a way? Yeah. Because all that does is it starts that for them, and they gotta like you. They gotta like you. There's no way they don't like you. Well, that's much easier when they like you. They could all get together and say, like, we like him. We want to pour into what he's doing, or we believe in it, or whatever it is. Yeah. I don't know, man. I just think that's how you enter into that next chapter, that you're like, dude, I would dream of owning this. Don't just dream it. Yeah. You're already not scared to go do it. Don't just dream it. Because it could be a 5 years down the road thing. But that conversation always has to be nurtured, They may say, hey, if you can get X down payment together, and we'll do it. We'll owner finance it. And now you're like, oh, X down payment. Okay, well, I can do that in 3 years. So 2020, whatever that, 2028, you know what I mean? I think we can do this. All right, well, let's do a lease with option to buy that expires in 3 years. Okay, there's your runway. You know what I mean? Now you're like, dude, I'm working on a farm that's going to be mine, not just never. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, I just get fired up about what a beautiful thing that could be for them, where you came to them, I think, right? You came to them and tried to get them to lease to you. Yep. You did what you said you were going to do. You've made massive improvements to their farm. You've been the leasee that you said you were going to be. I don't see why there couldn't be some synergy to just, hey, can we find a way? Like, and maybe I can't afford it. You can lean on that. Maybe I just can't afford it, but could we find a way? Might surprise you, And I don't know. Anyway.
I love it. No, I appreciate that.
I love creative financing as well. So, like, if that ever gets into a thing, like, I love putting that kind of stuff together. So I'm all in. If there's ever a way that you're like, I think there's a way, can we meet? Yeah, I'm driving to you right now. We will put that thing together.
Sweet.
100%. And a lot of my attorneys love that stuff too. And sellers love that stuff. It saves them taxes too. It saves them taxes to sell something to you on an installment versus getting all the money at once. And they'll know that. They're smart. They'll know that. They do an installment sale with you. It's a lower tax bracket for them. Or they need a 1031 or whatever. Great. But, All right, the plane. Let's put it back on the ground. I got another question here. Tell us, what do you do in a drought scenario? And did you have one last fall? Because I know there was one a couple years ago, right? That was bad. What do you do?
So 2025, we got no rain in August and September, or we got like, I don't know, a quarter inch. And that's like our, yeah. So like fall food plots were terrible. August and September are our key months to grow our winter feed. And we just didn't have, we got some this year, but last year, 2024, we had nothing going into winter. So we had built a flock of ewes up to, we had like 2,200 ewes. And then we were taking other people's cattle in and grazing them for them. We call it custom grazing. Well, we had a contract for those custom grazing cattle. I think we had like 650 cows here. And
Eesh.
we had taken these people's animals. They had bought them and shipped them to us, and they had, millions of dollars invested in these cows, and we had to feed them. And we had that contract. Like I had an obligation to honor that contract. So the flock of ewes that we had spent like 5 years building, they had to go because I couldn't keep one. I couldn't keep both. It was one or the other. So
you had to tell them to pay for food. You're saying
just to make room for the little grass we did have.
You had to reduce the pressure.
Yeah. So we had to sell our really good group of ewes, which was kind of sad, but it is what it is. It was out of my hands. So we did that. And then we sold down. Like I work with the guys that own the cows, and we sold down. We were really hard on the cow herd, said anybody that's not perfect's got to go, and we'll do the rest. And they ended up selling quite a few cows and got the numbers down to a manageable level. And then thankfully cow prices ended up being, the last 2 years have been really, really good. So it actually worked out that about halfway through the winter, they ended up just sending all of their cows to the sale barn, or to a special bred cow sale, and liquidated them just to they had bought them low and just sold them high.
Yep.
So that was like, thank God, because we were looking at, buying a bunch of hay, which there was no grass. There was also no hay. So we were looking at trucking hay in from Pennsylvania and other places. And it gets outrageously expensive. And we were just going backwards and backwards and backwards the more we got into it. So we got out of it, losing a minimal amount of money. But it was hard because we still had, at the time we had 4 employees, and that went down to 2 employees. And then we still had a family and 3 kids. And it's like, holy cow, where's all this money coming from? So it's caused us to pivot in a lot of ways, and we're still trying to figure it all out. But
isn't it crazy how stressful, ugly, depressing, deflating, exhausting, all the words, being in the trenches in those times are? Isn't it crazy how equally empowering it is when you just get through it? Like you just figure it out.
Yeah.
And then now this is my next curiosity, Austin, and maybe there isn't a fix. Is there any ways to make your operation more drought proof? Like now that you've come through this, did you ever have any takeaways where you're like, we should have done this, or we could plant this subspecies that's drought tolerant? I don't even know. Like, is there ways that you've thought we can beat this or help this next time?
Yeah, 100%. So what we did this year is like the year of the really bad drought, we still had rain in the spring. And so guys were putting up first cutting hay and selling it real cheap. And then it started getting dry and hay prices started climbing and climbing and climbing. Well, we didn't act until like November. Then the hay was gone. So like this year we bought 400 bales of hay just from a neighbor guy back in like June and said, hey, let's just park it here. So we have it. I don't know if we're going to need it. It was raining like crazy. The hay was affordable, just to kind of, buy some insurance there. So
100%.
Yeah.
And is there anything kind of more long-term measures? Like I'm just thinking, in the drought, is it mostly the dormancy of the vegetation that causes the issue? It's not that we don't have water on the property, or is it both?
We're blessed to have a lot of creeks, rivers, ponds. The water level was down, but it wasn't an issue. We didn't have to haul any water. It was just a lack of feed.
Got it.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if in your operation so is there ever enough? Does it ever make any sense to do some kind of irrigation on the best spots, or is your ground just not suited for that to ever be a thing?
I'm not sure I could get that to pencil. Just
Yeah.
the cost of that for what it produces with livestock. I mean, if you're going to specialty grain or something, I could see it. But when you got 3 inches of topsoil, it just it doesn't go very far.
Yeah. Is there any kind of do you look at from a whatever the word is, holistic or agronomy standpoint of is there drought tolerant varieties that you could plant or drill or anything that you may say, hey, this is helpful? Or is it more so, hey, when bales are low and springs are wet, let's buy in case? Like, was that enough to kind of bulletproof the process?
Yeah, that was enough. And then to add to it, I didn't even know this was a thing, but there's a government subsidized, and I hate saying that, but it's just the truth. There's a drought insurance that you can get for livestock producers that if you receive less than your average rainfall, they subsidize they basically send you a payment. There's a premium to it, just like any other insurance. If it's a really wet year, you got to pay into your premium. And if it's a dry year, you get paid. And so I wish we would have had that last year. Yep. We didn't. We had it this year, and it actually worked out really nice. We got paid for August and September, and that paid for the hay for the winter. So it's like, well, that was amazing. I wish I'd have known about it before. So I hate government subsidies. I wish government would get out of farming and ranching altogether. But I do have to give our government credit. They support and back farmers and ranchers probably too much. But it keeps ranches alive. And I hate that that's the way it is. And it's, I'm honest and open about it. We did have to take some of that stuff, but it's the reason we could still be afloat. So,
yeah, well, I mean, when you have a legitimate need, you're thankful that that's there. I forget, I was listening to a podcast, or maybe it was just a social media reel, but someone even suggested, I think the government should pay off all the farm loans, all the notes for farms in the country. I think they should pay them off. And it was like, at first I'm like, that is absolute insanity. But the guy made this argument of like, look at what else they're paying off that's doing nothing for us, but we're breaking the backs of farmers to provide for our country, and we're not helping them. Like, and I know, there's extremes to every other side of it, but like, I did kind of think, like, I got PPP money, payroll protection plan in COVID. I got that. Do we make something for a farmer in drought time frame, or do we make something for a farmer when they can't afford the mortgage because the real estate tax went up so high in the county? I mean, these things that just happen that choke the farmer out. And I don't know, just thought, that actually is some food for thought. Obviously, I would think we can't do that, but if you could apply for grants or whatever, could there be some ways? So we have two other areas I want to go to. I honestly could spend this all the time we have today. I could go for hours on this. This farming side of things has been incredibly interesting. And I don't know if you're giving yourself enough credit, but like, you're doing it real. I mean, this is real, like in the trenches stuff. And I really, really respect it. Really respect what you're doing.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. So it shifts to, and I want, because Austin tickled this hunting story before we went live that you guys have to hear. I'm just going to make you wait. There's other good areas here. You said that you kind of got into land because of livestock and your dream to ranch. So tell us what that's looked like. What did this look like, and kind of what was maybe that light bulb or that aha moment of like, I've got to either broaden my spectrum here, or what was that for you?
Yeah, it was the drought in 2024. It was like looking at our cash flow projections. It was like, this isn't like we lost a bunch of money in that year, and it was like, all right, like, I not only have to provide for my family, but I got to supplement our livelihood from something else. And the blessing with those cows selling in the wintertime and us not having any feed is I was bored. Like, I had nothing to do. There was no animals. There was no grass. I was like, I spent a ton of time deer hunting. That's a dangerous place for an entrepreneur. It's a very dangerous place. Yeah. My wife's usually like, can you please do something? Please don't start something. Please you have permission to just watch football. Like, but I don't want to. I have an idea. Oh man. Yes. Yeah.
That's the problem. I was bored. That's where all
Yes.
terrible things start. All good things start.
Yes.
All right. So cash flow, the drought. I mean, metaphorically, we could say there was a drought in cash flow because of the drought.
Yes. Yes.
What do you start doing? What are you thinking? Because obviously you've been a sophisticated, I will call you a landman lease guy. You know, you've been a sophisticated direct to seller, belly to belly negotiator. What do you do?
So I've got a really good buddy. His name's Mike, and he's actually a informal partner of mine now.
And Mike was too scared to come on the podcast, everybody. So shout out to Mike, who bails because he thought we were going to talk about hunting the whole time. What a spoiler alert, right?
Yeah, we can give him a hard time, but he's actually, if I'm being honest, he's the real estate genius behind
Mike,
all this. So.
About to jump into your avenue, and you're just not even going to be here to talk. So we're just going to throw you right under.
We're going to pick on him. No, but my buddy Mike, he was buying and selling. It kind of sounds like what you were doing. He was doing a lot of residential flips, wholesaling, and just really into real estate. And I hate residential real estate. Like I can't stand.
Me too.
I don't. This sounds awful, but I don't like people. I don't like just the tenants, the commercial side of things.
Tenants and toilets.
I'm like, I can't do that. Like I'm used to working with animals like cows. I talk to cows and dogs. All the time.
Cows don't generally talk back and not pay the rent and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I was just like, man, how can I do this? Can I do this with land? And so I tried it. I ended up buying a lead list. It's from a company called the U.S. Leads List, and it's a pre-probate inherited list. Yeah, don't steal my lead list. No,
USLeadList.com.
Yeah. Well, anyway, what this list is it basically is a list of people that inherit properties in the state of Ohio. And it skip traces it for you, gives you phone numbers, emails, addresses, that kind of thing. And it was actually about this time last year. I bought the list in December, and then I started in January. I just started cold calling it myself. I came out here. I'm out in our office. It's a dog kennel. We raise working dogs. So I'm out here in a dog kennel. It's 55 degrees, and I just started calling people. I was like, hey, my name's Austin. I'm a farmer. I'm local. I think you own a property. I was just trying to be as real as I could with people and just started cold calling. And it was dreadful because I am not good talking to people. Like I said, I like animals. I hate people. That's not completely true, but
that's the punchline right there. I like animals. I hate people. That's a bumper sticker, I'm sure. That is somewhere.
Yes. Yeah. So it was cold calling was, it was humbling. It was humiliating. It was dreadful. Sure. It was just like, you just get told no and you get cussed out and don't ever call me again. Like 400 times a day.
Do it again.
And you do it again. You hang up and call the next one. And yeah, it took me like 90 days of cold calling straight. I was going through hundreds of leads a day. With this list, you would get the property that the person that died, sounds morbid, but somebody died, and then you would get their spouse and the three next closest to kin. You get all this information. So you had like 6 phone numbers to call. So one lead, I would call 6 phone numbers. Half the people wouldn't answer. You'd leave them voicemails. Some of them didn't connect, all this stuff. And I just kept dialing, trying to find somebody to sell me a property. And it was really educational for me because I learned how to talk to people. I learned how to be real on the phone. I learned how important it is just to be authentic and to not to sound like a lot of wholesalers do. I learned the value of doing it yourself and not having somebody else do it. Like, I am the person that wants to buy it. I am answering the phone. I am going to come put my boots on your property. Just be real with people. And I finally got a deal. I found somebody, I called them this was another God thing for me. I normally just called 5 acres and above in the counties I wanted. For some reason, I kept going on my list and I called a 4-acre parcel. And this lady answered. She had 4 acres, but she had, there was a total of 5 children that everybody inherited a parcel. So it ended up being a 60-acre property. And they lived in Florida and they had a title issue that they tried to sell the property a couple of years ago, but they couldn't because of a title issue. They were extremely motivated to sell. They had never been to the property. They inherited it. They didn't even know where it was. Like, this was my perfect seller, especially for a rookie.
Telling me there's a chance.
Yes. Yeah. So, negotiated a price on them with them. And I was like, hey, I'll figure out. They didn't know what the title issue was. I said, I'll figure it out.
So don't tell us the county. Okay. Don't tell us the county.
Okay. Yeah.
Will you tell us what the purchase was and what you sold it for?
I will, and I'll say it like this.
And I'm only telling this for people's belief building stuff, because Austin, like we talked earlier, I don't care about that. Yeah. I think people don't think this hard work works.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm asking.
Yes, and I'm an open book. I'll tell you any numbers you want to hear. But
it's generally public record. If you guys search hard enough, you're going to find it. So
yeah,
what?
Yeah, you can look it up on their site too. So I want to preface this with saying that I was just trusting the Lord to provide for us. We were like, I was sweating. Like, I didn't know what to tell my wife when I would cold call for a week straight, make 1,000 calls, and she'd like, anything? And I'm like, like I would almost bring me to tears. I'm like, no.
Yep.
And it's like, we got mortgage payments and we got a line of credit that's due. I was like, whew. And dude, so I'm happy to share these numbers with you, but I want it to be clear that this was the Lord providing for me and my family. I didn't do this on my own. He brought me this deal. That's why I call it a 4-acre parcel instead when I normally stop at 5. Like, this was God showing up for me and my family. So we ended up buying this property. Turns out whatever title issue was in the past, somebody had passed away and the title issue completely went away. There was no issue. Yep. So that was the problem that needed solved. And then I solved it just by like bringing it all to the surface. So there was 60 acres. We paid $3,500 an acre for it, and put a bunch of for sale by owner signs up on it. And 60 days later, sold it for $7,500 an acre. Our net profit on it was like $198,000. It was like, thank you, Jesus. And it was such a win, such a praise for our family, because it sounds crazy, but it got us back to zero. Like, dude, it just paid off all of our credits, like all of our debts, our payroll that we were in the hole on, and like all that stuff. Just like, whew, now we're on our feet again. And so yeah, that was like the Lord looking out for us, and awesome. So
and that's
that
why
gave me
care.
confidence.
It's not the number; it's the outcome of what
happens
when you grind, keep your nose to the ground, and go. And you wouldn't quit. You wouldn't quit calling. You wouldn't quit taking no's. You wouldn't quit pushing.
Yeah.
Man, it is empowering. So carry on. So
yeah,
that was your first deal. Was that deal 1?
That was deal 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of stripes through that, and then it was like paid off. Let's go. Yes. So now your head's straight and you're like, all right, let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah. So it fueled me. I mean, I was back on the phones the next day. I shouldn't admit it, but I was out here drinking Red Bulls, just trying to stay energy. Like, I went straight from coffee to Red Bull, and then just like, it was a grind. I mean,
so that's legal, right? It's legal.
Yeah, right. So, got back on the phones and was able to do a couple small deals after that. But really got to the point where it's like, all right, I need to turn this into a business. Like, this isn't sustainable. Like, I'm willing to grind it out. I cold called for like 4 months straight every day. Like, I put my time in. I finally got comfortable talking to people. Let's start sending some direct mail, because it's just not, there's only so much I have to give, and I need to widen my net here. So just started sending some direct mail, and I don't want to say we've done a ton of deals from it, but it's, as you know, you've got my cards. It works. We get a small 1 or 2% response rate.
Or a card from this jerk. I'll have to pull it out of the trash here. I just haven't used it for kindling yet.
Yeah, right. But yeah, no, we just started sending some direct mail, and it's been cool. It's been a good opportunity for me to grow as a person, to really just, I guess, be real with people, show them like, hey, I'm a real person. I'm not here to lowball you. I want to make you a fair offer. If you have a problem, I want to solve it. and let's work together. And so I don't want to make it sound like it's easy or we've done a lot of deals, because we haven't. But it's been good. It's supported us, and it's actually it's kind of not to circle back too much to ranching, but with 3 kids and a wife, we both feel the Lord asking us to move back to where we're from, in Northeast Ohio, back to Hartville, to be with the community, so that my family's there, my wife's family's there, all of our friends that have kids there, like our kids, their friends are there. So we are actually going to be stepping away and giving up our farm and just passing it along to our employees. Like I'm handing them it all. Like it's your guys', you guys run with it.
Really?
And just walking away from it and trusting the Lord that this is what's best for us and our family. And we're supposed to be in a different area, and we're going to honor that. So we're taking a big leap of faith here, and going to be diving into this full time, and it's all I'm going to be doing. So yeah, going to be sending a lot of direct mail and trying to get better at working with people and break this paradigm of mine that people suck and animals are awesome.
Hold on. I want to make sure I'm hearing you right. You're getting out of ranching. Well, I guess I'm asking, is that maybe the active aspect of it? Like, are you going to be a passive involvement, or you're saying almost like you hear of employee-owned companies, or how are you doing that?
I am done with it. Like January 1st, my leases transferred to my employees. I renegotiated the leases, with the guys that work for me. I've got 2 really, really good guys. Okay. And the leases are going into their name. I'll probably still own some sheep and own some cows, and they will now custom graze them for me. But my wife and I both feel the Lord asking us to move on, to shut down this chapter of our life and put our family first, and just this is what's next. So we're gonna more than likely list our house for sale in the spring. We built a new house in 2019. I thought they'd drag me out of here, the day I die. I don't know where we're going to go yet. We got to find a place to live, but we're going to put our house in the market and sell it, and just wait for something to come up, and just trust the Lord's going to open the right doors for us. And yeah, that's
and do land. We're going to do land.
Yep.
So,
yep.
I don't know if you guys are hearing this, you're hearing this correctly, but, I'm in a really ultra good mood today, Austin, so I won't cry. I'm on a high emotion, but I love a good cry. I love a good cry, but God is good, and God will challenge you, and he will bring you 2 seasons that you think are books that are just chapters.
Yeah.
He will bring you through seasons that you think are books that are just chapters.
Yeah.
And what I'm hearing you say is Austin 1.0 decided to go crazy and be a rancher. And Austin learned that and did well at it, and has done well and is doing well. And he honored God through it. Austin 2.0 decided to do some land out of boredom. Austin 3.0 is you're heading into a new season. Like you're heading into a new season, and I know how scary that is. You and I don't know each other that well yet. My listeners know that I moved my family because I felt like God was telling us our season was up. I moved my family from our hometown, from our families, from everything we knew, from West Virginia to Ohio, to chase opportunity. There was nothing. No corporate job, no nothing, no whatever, no tugging other than I believe we can win if we go. I believe we can win. I'm done with a very tired season. I'm only prefacing all that to tell you how intimately I feel what you're saying. Number one, go you. It's amazing you can listen to God like that, and it probably for all the listeners, it's like, oh, how noble. No, how scary. Right?
Yeah.
How trying. How nerve-wracking. How old are your kids, Austin?
6, 2.5, and 1. All
right. See, I've got 3 as well. What you got, girls and boys, or just girls, just boys?
2. The first 2 are boys, and then the youngest is a girl.
Okay. So I've got 3 daughters, and moved them when we were second and fourth grade for them.
Wow.
And, found a new church, found new Christian school, picked where I live on a map, literally picked it on a map and said, I think this is where we'd like to be. Geographically, I think this is going to create opportunity. And I just started over totally, like literally 100%. So I can feel what you just said. I can feel it. And you're saying, and I would love, my wife and I joke, like we don't think we would ever move back to where we lived just because there's so much opportunity where we're at. But we also just aren't in that season where God could say, hey, you can go home. Like you can, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're just not that. We just don't, we have a piece that we are not in that season. And maybe we will be, in the future, but I feel that. So what's it looking like if you kind of said it, but what's day to day for you guys now? I mean, how have you wrestled with that? And when did you make that decision? Maybe we start there.
Yeah. Made that decision. We were both praying about it. We both felt very alone, just in the aspect of like we have no community. We don't have any friends. We don't have a babysitter. We haven't been on a date in 3 years. Like there's just, unless we're taking the kids with us, it's very hard to be intentional in our marriage. It's very hard to be intentional with our kids. I feel guilty every time I leave the house because I know my wife's home alone with 3 kids, and she's an incredible person, but it's a lot. She homeschools our oldest. Like there's just a lot on her plate, and we're down here where I chose to be because of chasing my dreams. And there's like what you said a minute ago, like Austin 1.0 and Austin 2.0 I have spent 15 years trying to do life by just what does Austin want to do. And I have never once said, God, what do you want me to do? Where do you want me? Where do you want my family? What should I be doing? How can I serve you? How can I make your kingdom better and bigger, not Austin's? And this is the first time I'm like, I am done trying to do it on my own. I'm not like, I can't do it. Everything I've done in the past has either failed or caused so much stress that I don't enjoy it anymore. I want to do this walking with you. I want to walk closer every day with you. That's my prayer. Like, God, just talk to me today. Show me who I can bless. Show me who I can help. How can I be a better person? How can I serve you? And this, as soon as that mind shift happened, it was like, your leases are done the end of the year. And it was like, that's it. And I don't know where we're going. I don't know where we're moving to. We're going to sell our house with nowhere to go. And I'm so at peace with that. It's crazy. Like it's because I am doing it with.
Do you have a camper or something like?
Yeah. Well, it's like for the first time in my life, I've always felt like I've been trying to go into the wind, and not that God didn't want me to do the things I've done, but I didn't have a relationship with him. Like I grew up in a Christian home. I went to a private Christian school. I have had God preached to me forever, but I didn't walk with him. And now it's like, there's this been shift where like, now I feel like the wind's at my back and like, yeah, I don't know where we're going to go, but I don't care. Like the creator of all the universe is with us and I have nothing to fear. So,
amen.
Yeah, that's where we're headed.
What I heard someone say to me one time was that when we are at a certain age, at some point in our faith journey, like we borrow everyone's faith for a long time. Like, I was the same way, raised incredibly Christian. I went to a public school, but raised incredibly Christian. We were at every revival. Like I said, I used to tour in a Christian band. I had a really small circle Christian friend group in school. Like we didn't even go to prom. We all went to Six Flags because we thought we'd rather do that. We had a great youth group. We had all these fifth quarters after football games, kids over. Everyone knew, like, you come to our church, it's where it's at. Really thankful from upbringing, but it was easy to borrow everyone's faith in that sector. It was easy to borrow everything.
Yeah.
And at a point, you get to a point in your own journey where you have to decide and own your own. And I've been there, man. And I actually, I've been there where I was so tired in business and so tired in everything that I have done and so tired in just manufacturing this path for my life and just so tired that God finally was able to speak to me to say, can we do it my way?
Yeah.
Like
1,000%.
we do it my way. And
Yeah.
I think honestly, that's half of the journey of me leaving and choosing to move and all the things we did is like some of our best friends in West Virginia that we miss dearly because we haven't made the friends that we thought we would. And we haven't all the things that you've said as well. We don't have a babysitter. We can pay for one through the church, but like we don't have a,
Yeah.
I think God was testing to see, like, I'm asking you to go out to where I can talk to you, not where anyone else or any place else or any whatever else can talk to you. And it sounds like in your kind of journey, he took you to the pasture as well.
Yeah. 100%. Absolutely. It's
wild.
you nailed it.
It's so wild, but so refreshing. So, man, we could go forever, but here's what I want to know to kind of put a bow on the land stuff, because I'm sure for listeners, they're probably like, hey, I want to learn more about the land than I did the cattle. The cattle wasn't as cool. Well, you're wrong. Number one, the cattle was really cool. And we're going to talk cattle for sure. I'm keeping Austin in cattle, whether he wants to or not. I'm keeping him in it. I'm going to call you, hey, I've bought 100 head. Now what?
Yeah.
What do I do?
Yeah.
Like, what is a deal avatar? We're going to like waylay in the emotional plane here. Back to the pencil and paper.
Yep.
What do you feel like when you're looking for a deal, Austin? What excites you, and what do you want to do with it? Do you typically want to just buy something and then you want to just resell it? Or do you go in and try to force appreciation in any ways? Like what's your strategy anymore?
Yeah. So right now, like all options are on the table. We're still very, very green at this, still learning a ton. I'm not in a financial position to buy and hold something for a long period of time. So today, a lot of our stuff is just buy it. If it's we haven't done this yet, but I haven't found the right property. The deals we have done have just been literally a matter of buying them right. Maybe getting a landowner cash quick, or getting, solving some quick problem for the landowner, and they're aware of that. And we market it. We put it on the market and sell it.
Yep.
I would love to get to the point where we're doing more things like what you guys are doing, where you're putting food plots in and box blinds and things like that. I am trying to, like, my target marketing is after hunting. We call it three things: like hunting properties, farming properties. Like, I am still passionate about farming and ranching properties. I know that side of the business very well as far as the production on it.
For sure.
And then recreational properties. Like those three things, it's what I'm going for.
Yep.
The bigger the better, the bigger parcel size, the better, the easier it is to squeak a little bit of margin in there.
Yep. Amen.
So yeah, we're wide open. We're sending mail to all of Southeast Ohio, a little bit of Northeast Ohio. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I love West Virginia. My dad's got some property in Monroe County, so we're down close to the river. And
so you're over in West Virginia as well, sending mail.
Yeah, just a little bit.
All right.
I love that part of the country. I think it's absolutely beautiful. The steep Appalachian Mountains are awesome.
Everybody I believe West Virginia is one of the most beautiful states in the country.
Yeah.
I've never hidden this. There's not a lot of economic stuff going on. And so it's cheap. It makes it cheep.
It's cheap.
It's just a completely different economic driver than what I've seen in Ohio. Yeah. And that's why I moved.
Is.
I mean, that's why I moved. I mean, like, I felt like I was a really big fish in a really small pond. I was a dreamer in a tired space, and it's beautiful, man. It is so beautiful. I really wish and hate I'm too young to have made an impact on it, but I wish that West Virginia had pivoted economically much faster, better than they did. Coal is what, they've ridden with coal, and it died 35 years ago, and they just never pivoted. And I'm not poo-poo on West Virginia. I mean, tons of people I've interviewed are all from West Virginia. It's where I live. It's where I was born and raised. It's never going to have a not dear place in my heart. But yeah, man, that's just really cool to hear that you're doing that. I've kind of toiled with the idea because I exponentially know certain counties in West Virginia better than here. I mean, I exponentially know. So it would be much lower lift for me. I've just been like, hey, we have so many dollars, you know what I mean? We can't buy everything, so we're just going to go where we think we can create margin.
Yeah. And that's been kind of the thing with West Virginia is when I mail West Virginia, I don't get I got I threw 10 of these letters away last week. Like,
right.
They're like, oh,
I didn't get
you
one.
actually have interest in buying this? I'm like, oh,
Right.
yeah. And you're right. It's a total different business. Like people
$900
don't
an
get
acre sounds good.
nobody gets excited to go hunt West Virginia anymore.
I know. And it's crazy because honestly, man, there's still some really good deer that come out of West Virginia. I mean, really, like even not just the bow only counties, but you talk about the bow only counties. There is some killer deer that come out of there, but it's definitely a world of its own for sure. So, Austin, I wouldn't beat yourself up. What I would say about what we're doing that I would say is maybe some of the failure of my own business is I love doing the food plots, doing the blinds, doing all that stuff. I do. I love the appreciation aspect, but I love, as the visionary, I'm sure for you, even when you build fence or when you make something better, I just like seeing that. I think it's cool to see the change and the scenery and my vision being cast out, but it does slow it down. It does make it more risky. It does pigeonhole your buyer's pool because sometimes they don't want what you wanted or what you put money into. And so you do kind of like go down a road where you're like, this may not be the best use of my time, money, and effort. But I think you said it right. Honestly, if you buy something right on the front end, that's when you make your money. You make your money the day you buy it. You buy something right, and your exit strategies can be numerous if you buy right. So we could do one together. We could do a hunt and farm together. I'd 100% do it. I'll bring in the chaos and we'll set them up. And I am passionate about that. I don't want to downplay that. I love that. We're doing some of it right now where we're about to fire up the dozers and be doing some work. But there's days where it's like, some people love the farm just as much the day I bought it as the day I dozed food plots and all these other things. So it's just interesting to me.
Yeah. I also have I've talked to a lot of buyers that want to do it themselves. That's 100%. How I would be. I don't want to buy a developed farm. I want to buy a blank slate and I want to develop it.
Yep. So, and that's kind of where that's why we work hard to create the VIP buyers list because I'm the same way. I'd rather buy something before it's touched. And we always try to give our VIPs a discount. If you want to buy it now, it's X. If you want to buy it after we're done, it's X. If you want to buy it after we're done plus stuff that's for you, then it's X. It just goes up. Yeah. And if you want the DIY, then here's your chance. This thing's off market. Here you go. Shameless self plug. Get on my VIP buyers list. Don't get on Austin's. But anyways, all right. That's kind of I'm the same way. If I was to buy, I would be buying as is. We have to jump to something else. You've kept it from me long enough in our offline conversation. I want to hear the story, and you have to paint this picture like you started to, and then I stopped you. Tell us about the banger deer. Hold on, everybody. As if Austin isn't a real estate entrepreneur, cattle guru, listening to God, you do happen to hunt some, correct?
I'm slightly obsessed with traditional bow hunting, yes.
You guys heard it right. Strap in. You're all about to feel like a loser if you're just one of these lowly compound bow hunters like me. So, tell us about what happened. Was this fall? This is a hunting story from this fall or a previous fall?
Yeah. No, this was October this year.
All right. Let's go. Shoot a deer with us. Tell us the whole thing.
Okay. Well, I guess to paint the picture, I need to back up just a little bit. I had an awesome privilege last year. Are you familiar with a guy named Bobby Worthington?
Sure am.
He's a hunting. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
He is kind of become I don't know how to say this, like a role model for me as far as somebody who hunts deer for the right reasons in the right ways. And he's a true woodsman. And I've really admired that about him. And he came out to my dad's property and did a hunting consultant with us in Monroe County. And getting to walk the woods with Bobby was awesome. He taught me so many things. He's a big funnel guy. It's hard funnels, soft funnels, travel corridors. Let's get as many as we can just to break this down to a mathematical equation of the best odds of the place you sit to hunt a deer.
Yep.
And
he's
that
with
game,
Don
that
Higgins,
challenge.
and I've had Wes and Wes Delks over at a couple of my farms. So I've never met Bobby, but I've always heard the podcasts about Bobby saying, like Joe Miles talks about Bobby all the time, and hunt this stand every single day because it's a game of odds. So
yes,
yes,
yeah. And Bobby's also a bow hunter. He's a world champion with a traditional bow. So
he's a real hunter. You can say it. You're not going to. He's a actual real hunter.
He's legit. Yeah. When it comes to hunting hill country, Bobby's the guy. So anyway, I got to spend a day and a half with Bobby, and he taught me a ton about the property we looked at. But there was also some like overriding principles that really stuck with me, and that was like he just painted this picture of beating a deer at his own game and not using bait, we're in Ohio, so that's a whole nother can of worms, but like outsmarting a deer, like in his own habitat, in his own turf, in his elements. And like just a small note to that is like, I can't stand box blinds. I won't ever hunt in a box blind. If I'm going to go sit in the woods and have a chance to be in God's creation, I'm not going back inside a door. Like I got to be in a stand. It's a personal thing.
I like it.
Not saying everybody should do it.
I like it. Totally get it.
And it's also very hard to shoot a traditional bow out of a box blind. So that's another reason for it. But I got this vision that I am going to outsmart a deer on his own turf at his own game. And I'm going to do it with a traditional bow. And I'm very fortunate. A lot of the ground that we lease, I can hunt. There's also a tremendous amount of other guys that can hunt at the specific farm I hunted this fall. There's probably 40 guys that hunt it. It's a big farm. It's 2,000 acres, but there's 40 guys that hunt it, and they can all bring a guest. So it's not as bad as public hunting, but it's not like I got 2,000 acres of private ground to hunt. But being there every day, I kind of know where the deer. I mean, I see them every day. I know where the guys hunt. I know where their stands are. I know where their corn piles are, all that kind of stuff. There's really one section that nobody hunts. It's down in this nasty bottom. It's a 150-acre bottom it's just gnarly. It's got a big swamp on one end, and it all leads out at the bottom. There's a big, kind of all funnels down into a bunch of ag. There's an alfalfa field, and then there's a hay field, and then there's standing corn.
And really quick, Austin, when I think back to you building fence for cattle, my question on this strip ground is you're not just fencing the entire perimeters and they can go in those swamps. You're fencing where you would actually want the cattle, or the cattle technically could they go in there as well?
This specific bottom, they cannot go in, but others they can. We're just putting big perimeter fences up and then splitting stuff, 4 or 5 ways.
What makes the best
rotate.
sense? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Where's the water at? Yeah. Yep. That kind of thing.
Carry on.
So this specific bottom, the cattle cannot get into. But I don't think the cattle really mind, or the deer mind the cattle.
Yeah.
But this spot, it's hard to get to. It's far from a road. It's super thick. And as you know, any bottom, the wind is just a bear. Like the wind swirls all the time. So there's really 2 ways that you can hunt it is if there's no wind and the thermals are overpowering and pulling downhill, you can sneak in an evening. Or if it's really windy, sometimes you can get away with it. Just
it's a risk. Them a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and like it covers your noise getting in, and you can sometimes get away with it. So in this bottom, there's 2 mature deer. There's a 5.5-year-old 8-point that I had his sheds to last year. I passed him a bunch last year. He's just a solid, heavy 8-point. He's not going to score anything good, but he's a mature deer. And then there's a 5.5-year-old 10-point in there who's a big deer. He's probably 175 would be my guess. And I had told myself either one of these deer I can kill. There's 2 stands in this bottom that I can hunt, and either one of those, if either of these bucks walked past me, I'm shooting them. I don't care which one. And so I have one stand on the edge of this bottom that goes out to the ag. It's a funnel. There's a swamp there, and it's just a staging area where these deer come out of this bottom and they go cross this creek and go out into the ag. It's safe. I can hunt it if the thermals are overpowering the winds. I can get in and out real easy. And so that's where I hunted October 22nd. I go down and I get into this stand. I'm just doing a hang and hunt because I've had a lot of problems with people stealing my stuff. There's so many guys that hunt. I hate hang-on hunts, but it's just I'm tired of having good hang-ons get stolen and cameras get stolen. So I'm doing the hang-on hunt even though I hate it. I climb up in, I get set up, and my wife calls me, and my 2-year-old's got 106 fever, and he's got to go into the ER. So I take my set down, and I scramble back out. I didn't think I heard anything. Let it all go. The next night, the wind was the same. So I go back down in this bottom. I get up into the stand. I get my set hung, hang my bow up, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, all right, it's finally right. Like the stage is set. Both of these bucks have been using this trail to get out to the ag, once a week or so, right at last light. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. And I was finally able just to like relax and be still. And I started praying about just things in life. I'm like, God, where's my family going to go? What are we going to do with our business? I was praying for my son. I was praying for my wife and the challenges she has. Just trying to talk to God. And I heard him say, you're in the wrong stand. And I'm like, what do you mean? This is the only stand the wind's good for. And so to put a little bit of perspective in it, the next stand I have, the only other set is in the very middle of this 150 acre bottom. And I got to trudge through a big bedding area to get there. It creates literally the best funnel in Tuscarawas County, but it's super risky.
Yeah.
If you screwed up, you're burnt. And I was like, I said, God, there's no way I can get into there. This won't happen. I said, the wind's not right. It's not strong enough. They're going to hear me coming. And I vividly heard him say, I made the wind. And I was like, all right, I'm not exactly sure what I should say to that, but I'm packing my stuff up. So I lower my bow down, I take my set down, and it's getting late now. And I just start as slow as I can. Every time there was a little breeze, I'd sneak up here another 10 yards, 20 yards, get to my stand, put my steps in, get my ladder sticks up. I'm only using 2 sticks. I get up there and get my platform set, get my bow up. I hang my bow up, and I had gotten a couple text messages on the ride, on the walk in there, and I pull my phone out just to see who texted me. Click my phone off, put it away, turn around, and this 5.5-year-old 8 points at 40 yards. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I got in here without him seeing me. I didn't even have an arrow on my bow. I'm trying to find my tab. I'm scrambling. I get it all set, and I have a mock scrape set up that's kind of past me. So he comes through this funnel, and the wind's so touchy down here that I don't want the scrape within shooting distance, because I don't want him to stop. I want to shoot this deer. The wind's got to be right for 10 seconds when he walks past me to go to my scrape. And sure enough, here he comes. I mean, he just walks right down this trail. And, as a traditional bow hunter, I need 15 yards and in. That's my range. I mean, I can shoot 20, but my arrow's so slow. There's a lot of stuff that happens between me and 20 yards away. So This buck comes right down the trail. He has no clue I'm there. I'm on the backside of a tree. He walks past me, quartering away at 8 yards. And I 10 ringed him. He runs 50 yards, and I heard him crash. And I was literally in my stand for, I bet it wasn't 2 minutes. And I almost got emotional. I did get emotional. It was just
yeah,
it was
emotional
such
right now.
Yeah, it was just a metaphor of life. I'm not out here saying, go in your tree stand and ask God to shoot you a giant buck, and he's going to tell you how to do it. But for me, this symbolism was doing life on my own. Just the wind is in your face, and it's just hard. It's an uphill battle. And when you trust God and you're walking with him every day, he is with you and he will provide for you. So I didn't even put this deer on Facebook or any social media. This deer is so special to me. I don't want anybody to see it except me. I don't share this story for my own glory. I want people to
show it to us. We can't even see it on your phone.
I'll text it to you.
Oh my gosh. Now hold on. I did have to ask, maybe we should have covered this earlier. I have a feeling, having talked for an hour plus, were you raised Amish or Mennonite at all?
My parents were Amish when they were little.
Okay.
And then they left the Amish church. So I have a ton of Amish relatives. I can speak Dutch.
I was going to say,
I am not in any way.
Yep. We got Troyer. We got Tuscarawas County. We have the Drought. I know there's Pennsylvania Dutch coming, and he didn't take any pictures of the deer. So I was starting to do some math here, or didn't want it shared. Doing some math here. But there's electric. I do see electric.
Yes. No, the no pictures of the deer, that's not anything within, ex-Amish. That's just I'm not out for instant gratification anymore. I have totally changed the definition of success for me as a bow hunter. And anymore, I go to sit in the woods and be still and know that he is God. And if I get lucky enough and he blesses me enough and a buck walks by, great. If not, I'm just as happy. It was an awesome night to just cement in my mind what life can be like when you're walking with God and when you're truly trying your best to seek him and live out his kingdom and his will and his purpose on earth instead of my own. So, yeah, that's my story.
That is unbelievable, dude. Unbelievable. So, two things that come to mind here. There's a podcast that I'll have to have you go back and listen to sometime. I did with a very good friend of mine, Dave Miller. He's a very accomplished hunter in West Virginia, incredible Christian man, just a mentor of mine, just someone I look up to immensely. And he was one of my spiritual resets when I was really burnt out and really scared, and life was hitting me with a lot of blows from a lot of directions. And Dave embodies this ideology you just said of oftentimes as hunters, we always talk about, we go into the woods, we go in light, and the goal is to come out heavy. Like, that's the goal, that's success. And so many times as a hunter, I go into the woods heavy, and my goal is to come out light.
Yes.
And
yes.
That is, you just said it, to be still and know he is God. And it is so pure for me that in business, it's busy, it's loud, it's fast moving. In my house, it's busy, it's loud, it's fast moving. In my life, it's busy, it's loud, it's fast moving. In my friendships, it's loud, it's fast moving. The woods, it's not. It's the exact opposite of all that. And you hearing him say, I made the wind, Austin.
Yeah.
Like, you don't trust that I can deal with the wind direction. My favorite verse in the entire Bible is just because of, I think, being an entrepreneur, I have always loved John 16:33. It is somewhere behind me, but it says, John 16:33 is basically, I assure you that you will find trouble in this world, but take heart, for I have overcome the world. And as we think of all these things we've talked about navigating, and all these things, all these aspects that are on our brains as dads and husbands, as business owners and friends, and as spiritual journeymen and as hunters, and all these things that are heavy that we will find trouble in. And he just literally says, I have overcome that. I have overcome the world. It's just always been my mantra of, like, as heavy as I will allow things to get on me, take heart, he has overcome the world. It's just amazing. So basically, what you're saying is, if we would get into traditional archery, follow God, do hanging hunts, ask him about the wind, and we too can kill a giant with a traditional bow at 8 yards.
Yep, that's it. It's as easy as that.
Okay. I mean, easy as that, as simple as that. So this is about the easiest question I'm going to ask you, Austin. I have immensely enjoyed this conversation. We must connect and stay connected through business and friendship and whatever. It is so creepy how much our journeys are similar. It is so creepy. God is just good. And it's really cool to me to continue to hear the same journey that I a couple of years ago thought was unique and was just my own woes, and then it's like, nah, it's pretty common. It's pretty common. You entrepreneur guys get yourselves out there in the cliff, and then you have to turn around and listen. That's a pretty common journey. And it's just so funny, Austin, how many of this version like yours that I hear of the season that God, he just puts us in and forces us to make tough decisions as a leader, make those tough decisions. But I'm excited for you guys to get to move home, to have that homecoming, to have that purity and that peace, and just what it's going to feel like to be back and allow your kids to be around family and all those things. That's exciting. That's really, really exciting. Easiest question of the whole podcast. How do people get a hold of you? Even though you don't want them to, because remember about the animals and people. These are good.
People suck. No, I'll just give out my cell phone number. I mean, we're in the process of building a website. We don't have any social media presence yet, so that stuff's in the works, but not there yet. My cell is 330-806-8869. And my email is austin@oxfordlands, with an S.com. I'd be happy to help somebody if I could, or in any way.
And are you on social media? Do you have an Instagram or Facebook or anything?
I have a Facebook. I am never on it. Okay. So if you reach out to me there, I might see it in 2027.
I get a fair bit of messages that I don't ever see either, because it goes to like message requests and I don't ever see that. So I feel super bad because I'll open it and people ask me like 6 months ago of something. I didn't mean to do that, but no, I completely get it, man. I mean, there's a lot of times that I want to be social, but there's just as much or more time that I just want to be me. And I want that for anyone else. Like, I don't mean that in the wrong way. Like you've said it too. Like, I don't not believe that God is good in anyone else's relationship with God. I just believe I like my own journey right now. Like,
100%.
That's okay for me. I thank you for just being so open and intentional though, with being willing to talk through this. Obviously, before we got started, I was telling Austin, I mean, for me, the try, fail, adjust is more interesting than the success. And if you look at what we spent time on, your success story of a big transaction was probably our shortest conversation out of all of it. You know, because it doesn't matter as much to you, you know?
Yeah. The really only thing that matters there was the goodness of God. Like it wasn't that Austin did this. It was he's got your back. Yep. That's the thing to take away from the success.
Amen. Amen. So, entrepreneur turned rancher, turned land guy, turned real-time land guy, turned hometown family man. You guys have heard it all on here. I appreciate you being with us this week. And Austin, I appreciate you being on with me, dude. It's been really fun.
Absolutely. We'll definitely have to connect.
We sure will. All right, everybody. You just got to wait another week. Who knows what we have up our sleeve next. But good luck topping the traditional bow giant 5-year-old 8-point story that you've heard if you're out there still braving the hunting season. We'll see you next week on Legacy Through Land.
And that's going to wrap up this week's episode. If you're finding value in this content, we'd love to hear from you. It'd mean a lot if you could share with us how this podcast is helping you on your journey and let us know of any topics you'd like us to cover in the future. Be sure to connect with us on all social platforms at Legacy Acres Land Co. and subscribe to stay updated on when new episodes drop. We hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of the Legacy Through Land podcast, and we'll see you next week.